The drama surrounding Indiana's playoff push didn't begin with a tip-off. It began with bruises, stitches, and a statement no one wanted to read. Caitlin Clark's season was over. A stubborn groin injury that had stalked her since mid-July refused to budge, and the calendar ran out. "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season," she wrote, thanking fans and vowing the Fever would close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs. Head coach Stephanie White didn't sugarcoat the decision. They'd run out of time to bring Clark back in a safe way, she said, emphasizing the big picture and the long game. Indiana's margin was razor thin, 8th place, 1 game clear of Los Angeles, and now the final stretch would be played without their cultural epicenter. The injury list read like a roll call for a training room. Sophie Cunningham done for the year, Sydney Colson out with a torn ACL, Chloe Bibby still managing her knee, Ari McDonald sidelined with a broken foot. An entire rotation vanished. The Fever weren't adjusting so much as improvising. Lineups turned into puzzles. Possessions felt heavier. Every substitution mattered, and then Chicago walked in. Indiana didn't just beat the sky. They authored a season-long verdict. 5 meetings, 5 wins, an average margin north of 24. The latest chapter was a 97-77 dismantling, a performance that felt less like survival and more like declaration. Kelsey Mitchell orchestrated with poise, 20 points, 8 assists, choosing her moments to attack and, just as crucially, to set the table. Natasha Howard gave the game its spine. 18 points, 7 boards, 4 steals, the kind of two-way presence that erases opponent confidence. Around them, the depth blossomed at the exact moment the roster looked thinnest. Odyssey Sims punched gaps. Aaliyah. Boston steadied the interior. Aerial Powers kept the pressure rising. 27 assists, 9 turnovers. That's not hot shooting. That's connected basketball context made it sting for Chicago. Indiana's sweep wasn't a quirk of form, it was separation. The win nudged the Fever up the bracket, 7th after the Sparks stumbled, and tightened their grip on a postseason they'd been clawing toward night after night. Results elsewhere cracked a door to 6th, but the biggest shift happened courtside, in plain view, on a face that refused to flinch. Lexie Hull checked in with 2 black eyes and left with a bloody lip. A week removed from a head-on collision. With Gabby Williams that darkened both eyes, she absorbed another shot, this time across the mouth, and never blinked. She'd joked that she forgets about the bruises until a mirror reminds her. On the floor, there was nothing to remember. She chased, contested, dove, and spaced. She hit open threes, chased down long rebounds, and turned the crowd's gasp into a roar the moment she popped back up. In a season defined by setbacks, Hull looked like the physical embodiment of Indiana's thesis. Play hurt, punch back, don't retreat. Her box score didn't need to headline. Her minutes did. White has said Hull epitomizes who the Fever want to be. Resilient, fearless, relentless on both ends, and that's exactly how the game looked. While her shooting has jumped to career bests, more than 53s on the year, her defense remains the glue. She bothered Chicago's guards, jammed actions before they started, and bought her teammates extra possessions with nothing more. Glamorous than effort. On a night when Indiana handed out nearly 3 times as many assists as they committed turnovers, Hull's toughness threaded the whole thing together. You don't build chemistry with a speech. You build it with plays. Like that. The Fever's identity has been quietly hardening for weeks, and it showed in the subtleties. They turned stops into fast break punches. They controlled the glass. They manipulated pace. They turned long sky possessions into rushed shots and rushed shots into runouts. They didn't need a star to bend the night their way. They needed 5 players willing to make the next right pass. Even from the sideline, Clark was a presence, rising for big buckets, cutting her voice through huddles, staying locked in from the first horn to the last. The camera found her, but so did her teammates. When the best player in the building isn't in uniform and still chooses to lead, it changes the temperature of everything. The numbers add weight to the narrative. The 5-game sweep over Chicago now reads as the largest season point differential between 2 teams in league history, The 27-9 assist-to-turnover ledger speaks to a team that knows who it is. And the timing, claiming a must-have while Los Angeles slipped, turned pressure into momentum. Indiana didn't need help, but when it arrived, they were ready to make it matter. There were subplots everywhere. The Sky's chaos followed them. Angel Reese, unavailable after her 8th technical foul, triggered an automatic suspension, and Indiana showed no appetite for mercy. They hunted mismatches, attacked closeouts, and kept the scoreboard ahead of the clock. The Fever weren't just tougher, they were sharper, cleaner, more disciplined. You could feel White's message, the one she's repeated since July, land. With finality, every game is a playoff game. Play like it. Afterward, the moment belonged to Hull. Asked about the bruises, she smiled through them. People keep telling her she looks tough, she said, and she shrugs it off until a mirror tells the truth. Then she pivoted to the only thing that matters. They fight for the teammates who can't suit up, every day. That was the quote, not a boast, a vow. It felt like the line a locker room prints out and tapes above a doorway, the sentence you read before you step into the noise. For a team missing 5 contributors and still dictating terms, it might become the motto of their month. Strip away the headlines and you're left with this. Indiana won control. They seized a rivalry, claimed their place, and proved their identity doesn't depend on any one player. They are resilient by necessity and connected by choice. And when Clark's healthy again, when those deep threes return, when defenses stretch to 30 feet, when the floor opens another few feet in every direction, this foundation turns from coping mechanism into platform. The Fever will stop surviving. They'll start ascending.